Good evening, everyone. Happy weekend. I hope all is well. I know it's late on the East Coast and late on other coasts, but welcome to another weekend review for October 2nd, 2022. I'm just going to cut straight in. If you guys missed this, you can watch the replay on, the feed, or you can catch it on the Instagram post, or better yet, see some clips on Twitter. So here it is with these COVID numbers according to the Johns Hopkins University in Medicine website. So global confirmed cases of COVID-19 are at 617,873,891. The global death toll is 6,546,403. U.S. confirmed cases are as follows. There's 96,392,543, and the U.S. death toll is 1,059,605. So again, with the COVID cases, confirmed cases that we have here, including the death toll, we have 617,873,891 confirmed cases of COVID-19 around the globe, and over 190 something, close to 200 countries on the globe. And the death toll globally is at 6,546,403. U.S. confirmed cases are at 96,392,543, and the U.S. death toll is at 1,059,605. Damn. That is a lot. So in terms of vaccination doses, we have 484,455 Americans who have got their dose. Overall, we have 225 million Americans that are fully vaccinated according to the Johns Hopkins website. So that is 69% of the population. The president's goal when he announced his vaccine rollout in the national plan, President Biden, his goal was supposed to be 70% by the 4th of July of 2021. It is October 2022, and we are at 69% fully vaccinated Americans, despite the fact that we have over 600 million confirmed cases of COVID, people infected with COVID worldwide. Here at home, we almost got 100 million people that had COVID, we have confirmed cases of COVID, and there's almost, 100 million people that had COVID. We don't know the recovery rate yet, and over 1 million Americans are dead. It's 2022, towards the end of it, and we're only at 69% of people being vaccinated in this country when the vaccine is free and available to us from hospitals to local clinics. There's something wrong. There's something wrong. There's a lot of disinformation about the COVID vaccine. There's a lot of stupid shit going on, but I'm here to say that if you're listening to these platforms, you're sadly mistaken, because these people are not going to get you to be where you are in terms of being safe. Listening to these people is a death sentence for you. That's why it's important to protect yourself with vaccines and masking. Not just one or the other, both. So here's the deal. The fact that it's over 600 million confirmed cases of COVID-19 worldwide, over 6.5 million people dead. Here in the United States, almost 100 million confirmed cases of COVID, and over 1 million people are dead, and yet only 69% of the population here in the U.S. is vaccinated, despite the fact that we have the vaccine free and available to us. There is something wrong. But I'm here to say, if you are not fully vaccinated and protected and wearing a mask during this pandemic, because we're still in the midst of a pandemic, because there's people that's catching COVID that never caught COVID before, you will have a rude awakening. And I'm just here to tell you this. So that's why, if you can, please get vaccinated and still wear your mask. Just because you're vaccinated doesn't mean you can catch it. You can still catch this. But if you wear your mask while vaccinated, then you will have no problem. And if you keep your distance from people, that's no problem. And also take your flu shot too. And, and if you didn't take your polio shot before, or smallpox shot, take your smallpox shot. And also change your sheets so this way you don't have monkeypox. Because it's not an LGBTQ thing. I'm just saying. Yeah, these media outlets are, as well as healthcare, stop reporting on it. And the crazy part is more white people are dying from COVID than black people and other people of color. There are stats. They're out there. Follow Dr. Hilton. She got all the stats. I'm just saying. So, hello to everyone that joined. So that's my spiel on COVID. So these hurricanes are a nightmare. And I was just looking at the coverage because I know my mom's home state was hit. South Carolina. They were hit. Thank God my aunts are safe. So I'm looking at this and they made landfall. So the death toll, and Hurricane Ian did a number in Florida. So more than 800 search and rescue workers are looking for survivors and bodies in the hardest hit areas. More than 400,000 people are without power within the Carolinas. So we're talking about 47 people dead in Florida, at least 54 in total that have been confirmed, including at least 4 in North Carolina and at least 3 in Cuba. 35 people have died in Lee County in Florida, what the sheriff said. And also damages assessed were underway in Florida, Friday in South Carolina after Hurricane Ian made landfall again, and search workers are still ongoing in Florida. So, and that was the weather website. So, I just want to say about these hurricanes. These hurricanes have been happening back to back in the southeast of the country. And it's sad to say that half of these states have Republican governors, except North Carolina. The rest of these southern states have Republican governors. And these same Republican governors are climate deniers. Besides the fact being election deniers, they're climate deniers. They're science deniers overall. Some of these states, Florida, South Carolina, were the same ones to reopen their states first during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic back in 2020. When the rest of the country was at a stay-at-home order. So this shows right here and there how the leadership is. And people praising DeSantis of being an actual governor. DeSantis is the worst out of them all. He does not care. This man is trying to get political points. He doesn't give a damn about the safety of Floridians. Because if he did, this would not happen. And he would not be criticizing the president, who's actually sending FEMA, which FEMA's already down there to assist with the efforts. So all these people praising white mediocrity need to sit the fuck down and assess the damages. Yeah, I said that. Midterms. Towards the end of my stuff. So, there's key races at our play when it comes to the Senate. There is Florida, there's North Carolina, there's Wisconsin, there's Pennsylvania, as well as the defense seats such as Georgia and Arizona, Nevada, and New Hampshire, which we're going to pick up seats in the Senate. But people keep saying they're skeptical about the House. My thing is, we are going to maintain the House. We never know. There's always an October surprise, and there might be one on the Republican Party, because the Republican Party is going to do more shit to really harm themselves. And it's not just abortion. They're going to do some shit that's going to make people, independent voters, which I don't know why independent voters even taking them seriously, but I digress, going to make them turn the other cheek and vote for the Democratic Party. I believe it. That's going to happen. That's what happens when you're a believer. That happens. Some people say they're worried about the House. I'm not too worried about the House. I believe that the House, we're going to maintain the House. Yeah, it might be a little thin margin, but who knows? Because there's always an October surprise what Republicans are going to do. They're going to unveil a plan that is going to F them up terribly. Kevin McCarthy is not a good leader for the Republican Party. So the Republican Party is fractions within a party. Everybody talk about the fractions in the Democratic Party, but there's fractions in the Republican Party, because it is true. Kevin McCarthy, believe it or not, he's not well received by his Republican colleagues in the House. They don't fuck with him. They don't. It's the truth. But yeah. Oh, yeah. Down ballot for the Dems. Absolutely. We got to vote down ballot. Even if it's the Dems that we don't like, or the Dems that we don't care for, or the Dems that are not our preferred candidate, we got to still take them to the finish line. We got to vote down ballot for them. So that's what we have to do. That because the Republican Party's already told us who they are. But I want to release this message to you all. We have about 30-something days. I always lose count. I thought it was 36, but we have 30-something days until this election. Some of us got early voting starting this month. The third week of this month or the fourth week of this month. We are in the midst of a general election. This election is consequential. It is serious. The Republican Party, formerly known as the Grand Old Party, now the Grand Insurrectionist Party, already said who they were. They already said what they were going to do if they win the House and expand their majority in the Senate. They already said what they were going to do. I just burped. Oh, that's nasty. I'm going to say this again. This is a public service announcement. The Republican Party, formerly known as the Grand Old Party, now the Grand Insurrectionist Party, already stated time and time again who they were. They already told us what they were going to do if they win the House and keep the Senate. They already said what they were going to do. They are not for the progression of democracy. They voted against the voting rights bill. Most of them voted against the infrastructure bill, even though it was a bipartisan bill. Let's see. They voted against the ARP, baby formula, addressing that issue. The George Floyd Justice and Policing Act. They already said what they were going to do. And yet, people don't know if they're going to vote for the Democratic Party or don't know if they're going to vote in this election period. I'm here to tell you, the Republican Party ain't your friend. They votes already proved it already. and their political stance since 1964 solidified that they're not the party for the people. They never were. That globalism, humanitarian bullshit don't mean shit when they couldn't address the systemic racism in this country from yesteryear. They're not the party of the people, and they never will be. And that's the truth. The Republican Party's agenda, their agenda going forward, is to make sure you don't have your fundamental rights to vote, go to the same school you want to go to as other whites, school choice, access to your health care in terms of reproductive rights and overall health care, primary health care in particular, and marry who the fuck you want to marry. And of course, I didn't mean to leave this out, be black and be a person of color in this country while still living. They literally are against progression. They already told you what they were going to do. So saying you want to sit out this election because they ain't cancel all your student loans, you can kick rocks with that. And speaking is segue into time to read, folks. See how fast I move? I move fast. Let me read some of your comments. Yeah, white women still voting. I'm going to get to them, Queen. Don't worry. And, yep, I'm going to get to them. But I need to get to a particular white woman. Her name is Caitlyn Flanagan. I believe she's a Bernie supporter. Don't know the full background of this lady, but this lady always been bad news. I mean, her articles and stuff ain't shit. Well, she was on the Queen's Trash Mountain show. Another Queen's bum named Bill Maher. She was on a show, and I need to play the clip because it was striking to me, and it was brought to my attention. Per Too Raw, Too Real. So here it is. I have to repeat this.
Yeah, she's just not very popular anywhere, and it didn't seem to work out. And I don't know, that's been done before on a ticket, you know. I mean, a lot of people.
Tulsi Gabbard, remember that was that moment in the debate where she brought up that there are men and women in California that are in prison for these, pot deals, and then she was laughing about getting high on the radio station, and it was just like Tulsi Gabbard was like this heat-seeking missile. That was the end of it. She's got a lot of, in addition to being, for some reason, an off-putting person. She also has, I think, a lot of baggage that probably wouldn't do well under a lot of scrutiny.
I just think she's a bad politician, and I think she's a very bright person, but I don't know. But I can see them doing that because a lot of the problem with Biden being old is, if he dies, then you're going to get this person. Okay, so here's the problem with the Democratic Party. They're so boxed in by identity politics that you cannot conceive of a Democratic ticket that doesn't have a woman, person of color on it, and pretty soon you're going to line up behind that gay, Latino, and you're going to have, a deaf Eskimo be
I think it's Alan.
Am I right that they are boxed in by identity?
Well, first of all, I see it differently in that I don't think Kamala has caught fire yet or found her footing. I think that's true. I think the polling data says that. But I don't think that she would be a weight on the ticket. What I will say is this. You talk about identity politics. Joe Biden is an example of identity politics. Joe Biden is an example of black voters saying, we think we need to put a white guy in there. And nobody says he's an identity politics guy. Pence. How do you get Pence? You have Trump, who is not the most saintly guy in the world, needs somebody whose identity is conservative Christian. He goes and gets Pence. So politics is about identity. That's what it is. But whenever there's a person of color or a woman, we say, well, that's identity politics. It's all identity politics. You just got to put a ticket that can win. And that's...
Flanagan, that's how you pronounce your last name? Lady, off-putting person? You look like an off-putting person. You actually look unmoisturized and dry as fuck. This is the same woman who talks shit about Hillary Clinton running for president. And may I look for, what she said about then Democratic presidential nominee back in 2016, Hillary Clinton. I really want to because this is important to be transparent and say this. So, I assume she said some bullshit like this. Where is the shit? Cause I'm just that mad. She said this. What she said about then Hillary Clinton presidential candidate. She said, why I won't vote for her. And then she said, when Hillary Clinton killed feminism. First of all, let's just be clear. White feminism was a piece of shit back then. Y'all was not inclusive. And that's why there was a black feminist movement. And some of y'all white feminists back in the 60s are now Republicans. Y'all all went and vote for Ronald Reagan. So miss me with that bullshit that Hillary Clinton killed feminism. But I digress. So Caitlyn, saying that the vice president is an off-putting person is really rich coming from an off-putting, privileged, white bum like you. Who we don't know who you are because you're so fucking irrelevant. Y'all mad because the vice president is relevant, that she's actually making good connections and restoring our relationship with our foreign allies when the last administration done fucked everything up? Because that's the motherfucking truth. Yes, that is the truth. So I would like for Caitlyn to find some relevancy and get off the vice president's woo-ha. And that's for Bill Maher. This is especially for you. Why the hell you still have a show? Your show sucks. It's nothing but white grievance, white anger. That's what your show is about. Bill Maher, white anger. Not real time with Bill Maher. White anger with Bill Maher. Because Bill Maher is always so fucking angry. Always so angry all the goddamn time. You're angry about this. You're angry about that. And saying that the Democratic Party is about identity politics. How about you are identity politics? How about you're the example of white privilege? Of white mediocrity? Because nobody with the history that you got will still have a show on HBO. I'm surprised your ass is not even canceled yet with all the controversial shit that you've been saying. So, sir, I'm going to need for you to pipe the fuck down and shut the fuck up and get on with it if you don't like the fact that the Democratic Party and America overall is changing. But I want to circle back to Caitlyn. Because I want to ask Caitlyn Flanagan, if that's how you say your last name, I want to know why your demographic keep voting for platitudes and keep voting for white mediocrity. Why y'all keep voting to obtain white supremacy? Saying that you wouldn't vote for Hillary Clinton and saying that the vice president is an off-putting person shows that white women like you are the reason why black women like me don't trust the majority of white women at the voting booth. So you can take your white unmoisturized ass and write about why my demographic keep voting to obtain white supremacy after they stripped my rights as a woman when it comes to reproductive rights, why they took that away instead of coming for the vice president. You see, and I'm going to say this. Caitlyn Flanagan is jealous of Vice President Kamala Harris because Vice President Kamala Harris is something that she wanted her white candidate, I guess Elizabeth Warren or Amy Klobuchar, wanted to be. She want her favorite white candidates to be like the vice president. But they didn't make the cut. President Biden said, no, I want Vice President Harris because she's qualified. She's qualified. And she's ready. And no, she didn't ran like a feminist. She ran as a person on her record. While Tulsi Gabbard ran as a Russian asset and will forever be one. Will forever be one. So I want Caitlyn, with her irrelevant, unmoisturized ass, to write about why my demographic is so jealous of the vice president and black women. Write about that. So, and speaking of white voters like Caitlyn, as I said, white women, we need to have the conversation again. We're 30-something days away from the elections. And it's important for you to understand, in order to be an ally to black women and other women of color, you should think about, no, you should vote blue. I know I should not be telling people how to vote, but if you are seriously an ally to us or claim to be an ally, you will vote the way we vote. Because guess what? Everything is on the line. White men already stripped your reproductive rights away. And they're going to come for any other thing next, like equal pay. Because they already don't want you to have the same dollar amount as them. They already don't want you to make more than them or be a breadwinner in your house. So why vote for the GOP when you could vote for the Democratic Party, which is equal democracy? And if you're really an ally, you will see that my black brothers and sisters or my brown brothers and sisters is getting their voting rights stripped away. They're coming for marriage equality. They're coming for the loving law, which that affects you too, because some of y'all date outside of your race. So if you are a true ally, you will vote the way we vote. But if you're not, get the fuck out the way. That's all I'm saying. Like, we have no time to play. It's literally no time to play. Like, this thing is serious. Like, we got all this stuff in the way, and we're still dealing with the midst of COVID. We're still dealing with monkeypox now, and the reemergence of polio. Nobody got time for this shit. I'm sorry. Nobody doesn't. Republicans already told you what they were going to do. And that's where Virginia Thomas, Virginia Thomas, that's her name. Virginia Thomas is going to be the reason why Clarence Thomas is going to have to end up stepping down, which that'll be better for the president, because the president gets to put somebody, and he's going to put somebody that's extremely left, and he's going to replace them with an Asian person or an indigenous person, and they might be queer. That's my hypothesis. That's my prediction. But I am going to end this because it's 12:35. I try not to stay long-winded, but thank you for your comments. I'm reading it all. And, yeah, vote blue. Vote blue. Vote blue. Because we have to obtain this democracy. Until then, have a good night. Peace. Oh, yep, sure is. Have a good night. Take care, guys.